This is Jake Swazo, and this is my wife.
Julie Swazo.
Or Mrs. Jake Swazo.
Or Julie Mortimer, depending on the day. We're hitting back.
You're heading backwards.
I'm deleting.
You're deleting us,
I
Julie.
can delete us for.
Don't delete
would never
us.
do that.
Yeah, don't delete us.
Sorry.
Hey, 3, 2,
I apologize.
1.
Okay.
You guys are live.
Yay. Hi, everybody. Hi, friends, folks, and fans. What was it?
That's it.
Hi, friends, folks, and fans.
We are so excited to be here today. Thanks for joining us today on Flow or Fiasco.
That's right. This is our podcast, and it's going to be called Flow or Fiasco. And
Our goal is to find out whether or not our couple friends are, in fact, a flow or an absolute fiasco.
Yes, and we're going to ask questions and get to know people, and we've got a bunch of different angles of how to find that out, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
But not if we do that too many times.
I think
then that's not fun.
once a
Once
podcast.
an episode.
That's the one.
You get-
That's my one.
It's over now. Don't ever do it again.
Until next time.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so
Tell me about you.
my name is Jake Ben Swazo.
Oh, wow. Triple
What?
name. You got triple named.
I got triple named. I didn't get triple named, but I like to go by triple name because it really helps.
But you do.
my
You
ego.
aggressively make us all have to intake your.
I do. Whenever you just say Jake, I'm like, I'm sorry, Jake Ben Swazo.
Yeah.
I make everybody call me by my full name all the time. Excuse me, Jake Ben Swazo.
Okay, tell us about yourself.
Okay, so I am an adjunct professor. Right now I work at UVU and sometimes I work at BYU. And I have been an improviser and an improv teacher for many, many years. I also teach acting. And I'm a husband and father.
I was waiting for that.
Should I have led with husband?
If it had taken to me and you hadn't said those things, full fiasco.
See, this is what we're doing. We're trying to assess here what we have. Is this a flow relationship or is this a fiasco relationship? And I think this podcast is going to prove it.
What?
This one episode is going to prove what we have.
Oh, is going to prove what we have.
Yes.
Do you have a guess?
I think it's flow.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
That's really sweet.
What's your guess?
We'll talk about that by the end of the episode.
I kind of thought that's.
I think we should share our how we met story, Jake.
Okay. Yeah.
It's very sexy.
Is it?
If the kids are in the room, earmuffs. Just kidding.
That is not true.
We're never going to do that. Jake and I met at UVU, Utah Valley University. We were acting majors together.
And we were in a play together.
We were.
I met her
play?
in rehearsal.
Who did you play?
I played Dr. Sloper, and the play was The Heiress,
The Heiress, yeah. It was later adapted to a movie. And it
which
starred
was really good.
Olivia.
Olivia de Havilland.
Thank you for saying her full name. That's a tricky one for me. Yeah, it's super great. Look it up, black and white.
Really good
If
movie.
you've got the time, it's a great one. He played Dr. Sloper, and I played Aunt Penniman, the chubby, fun-loving aunt.
But-
So we were
Siblings.
brother and sister. Hold hands.
And we held hands.
So our
Then we
relationship-
made out.
So our relationship started as a family reunion, West Virginia,
West Virginia style. Julie.
true love.
Julie, that's not true about
Don't worry,
everybody
we've never
in
been
West
related a
Virginia.
day in our lives since.
Sorry, West Virginia. This is not a reflection on you.
We met the mountains, not any of the city parts. Just the highlands,
Highlands.
the highlands of West
The
Virginia.
Highlands. Not in Scotland, but
Okay, so after undergrad,
after undergrad.
Jake headed into a grad program at Northern Illinois University where he studied acting again, but a more
It was focused on Meisner, and it was an amazing program, and I miss all those people, and I learned an awful lot.
But one of your main focuses, kind of your aha moment, was when you started learning about
Laban.
Laban, L-A-B-A-N.
And I had learned about it a little bit from Chris when we were in, this professor of ours, when we were in college.
Yeah.
But I learned an awful lot about it when I was in grad school, and it really is amazing stuff, and we're going to talk about it on the podcast.
Tell me about Rudolph.
Okay, so
Rudolph Laban.
Rudolph Laban, and I think it's pronounced Laban.
Should we do it with an accent? Does that make it more?
Le Bon. You have to make your mouth really small.
I don't want to do
Le
it.
Bon.
I don't want to do it with an accent.
Rudolph?
I changed my mind.
Rudolph Le Bon. Anyway, he was a philosopher and a dance instructor and a
Theorist.
dance theorist.
Theorist.
Yes.
Yes.
And but what he would, excuse me, I'm sorry. What he would do is he labeled all everything that was possible in movement. And so it dealt with time and weight and focus and things like that. So in movement, you have heavy and lightweight.
Yeah, that's the weight.
And you have direct.
Doesn't necessarily mean the weight your body is.
Right.
A very tiny person could have a heavy weight.
Right. And a very, very huge person could like move. Like
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So it's really about energy and physical presence and things like that.
Okay.
And so then there was direct and indirect. Like
Yep.
Direct.
That's the space.
Indirect. That deals with space, and then there's also deals with focus, and then there's quick, right? Very small movements, quick movements, and then there's sustained movement. And so with the acting application, is that as actors we use these different sort of like energies in our body to sort of develop or highlight things about us that can be used for different characterizations. So,
but they take each of those three, combine them
into an effort.
So here's an effort. If one of the efforts is heavy, direct, and quick, I've combined all three of those. What's my effort?
Your effort is punch.
Punch.
So that effort, punch. If I were to come on stage with a punch character, then my character would respond to other characters in the play that way.
I can already see.
Heavy and direct and quick and yeah.
Yeah, so for Charlotte's Web, I played Mrs. Zuckerby. I always say Zuckerberg. She started Facebook.
You wish!
She owned Pigs.
You
and
wish!
She started Facebook. She was a flick, so she was very light.
And flick is light.
Indirect
and
quick. And so she flittered around the stage, and her voice got light, her body got light.
Oh, Mrs. Zucker.
She barely ever was like spatially aware of a person.
Right.
So we had these. We knew of these. Chris had taught us about that, our mentor at UVU, and we started using them for acting.
Right.
And for character
as a lot of actors do.
Assessment.
It's very common in acting.
But you kind of started seeing a through line during grad school.
Yes.
And what was it?
And my through line in grad school was that this is my opinion that everybody sort of presents a Le Bon that they are naturally. So they naturally have these energies in their body. And their natural Le Bon especially presents itself when they're upset or they're in emotional crisis. But people also have a superficial Le Bon, which is the one they present to people when they are sort of like intellectually engaged in a contact or a relationship with somebody. So with that and understanding that you might have a natural Le Bon, I sort of came up with the thought that this is actually people's conflict style. Their natural conflict style, when they're upset, they sort of download those energies into their body, and that's how they operate. So have you ever seen somebody who's like, hi, it's so good to see you. I mean, I've missed seeing you, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden one day they're like, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Whoa.
Like, you know, and they shift and you're like, what just happened to this person?
Aggressive.
And it's because they have this superficial Le Bon that they present to people to try to make themselves sweet and kind.
Right. You might superficially present yourself at work a certain way.
Right.
Or maybe there's even a relationship with like a parent that's gotten to you where you superficially present yourself
right
in one way.
You've had to like learn how to present a different Le Bon or different effort in order to maintain the relationship.
Yeah, but our uneducated theory, as educated as you can be, I mean, we're educated. We're also here just for fun.
Sure. It's also fun though too.
Yeah. So is that you have a true Le Bon that is the conflict style. So when you're meeting another person, it's important, especially in a marriage, that you start to understand maybe each other's
conflict style.
Because
if you understand each other's conflict style, then you can understand how to negotiate, how to communicate.
Yeah. So our goal in this entire podcast is that we're going to find out our guests' Le Bons. Mm-hmm. We're going to find out what their conflict styles are through a series of questions.
And these are fun questions.
Yeah. Then we want to ask super duper fun questions find out their answers, see if it matches the Laban that we found.
Right.
And then find out if their marriage is in fact a flow or an absolute fiasco.
And it's interesting to find out what about those different I just spit something out. What about those different Labans and efforts that create the fiasco? Sometimes it's not even a personality conflict in the marriage. Sometimes it's the energy that you just naturally express, and if you can find a way to shift that energy, like for instance, Julie is a punch and I'm a press.
Clearly.
So our difference is in time. So because I'm a press, when we have a conflict, I want to continue talking about it. I want to keep going until I'm intellectually satisfied. I want to make sure that we didn't skip any premises or any possible truths that apply. And so I'm willing and wanting and desiring to keep going until everything has been sort of discussed.
But we're both heavy.
Right.
So we both can use heavy language with each other.
That was stupid, and I can't believe you said that, you idiot. These are things you said to me today.
No, I didn't. I did not.
That's not true.
I want you to look me deep in the eyes, listeners.
Okay.
I want anyone who's listening to listen with your ears and tell me if you think this sounds dishonest or honest.
No, she did. But
I did
because
little, but I actually said that was if you
stupid.
Were stupid.
Yeah, if you were dumb, you would have done that. And I did do it. So that's what you said. But when you said it to me, because I'm also heavy, I didn't take it personal, and it doesn't hurt. I mean, sure. It's annoying. Like, I don't want to be called
we still
dumb,
have to get to a point.
But I'm heavy, so it doesn't shut me down or shock me.
Sure.
So,
and we both are direct.
And we're both direct. We're both on the issue.
We will handle the conflict straight on till morning.
Yes, we're both talking about the same thing, and we're handling the issue, and we talk heavy about it. But the duration.
You're sustained, and I'm quick. So if we were hypothetically speaking about an argument we had in the car on the way over.
Yes, hypothetically, of course.
Some people might say things like, that would be really stupid had you done that.
Right.
And then you would say a lot of intellectual things that make me really frustrated. And I would say, just say sorry.
Right.
And you would
and I would be like,
not stop.
And I would be like, sorry, but also, and this, and.
Yeah, he wants to intellectually know that, like, the premise has been set up. We understand, like, why we didn't do
Lots of details are important.
And I would like to just say we're sorry and move on.
Yes.
Some of the perks of being a punch, though, is that, like, I get over things really quickly. Mm-hmm. I don't really need to, like, marinate on the situation. Mm-hmm. I'm, like, quick to forgive. I may be quick to, like, spout off anger too, but I'm quick to forgive.
So, like, another thing, this happened to my parents, and I realized this is much later in my life. But I remember the situation when I was a kid, and this really applies to my parents' Laban. Like, my dad was a slash.
Which is
heavy and quick, but indirect.
Yeah,
right?
Does not want to have to actually deal with the
Doesn't want to deal with the issue, right?
So still mean language.
Still heavy language.
Still
you just respond quickly.
Yeah.
Right? And just get it over with.
But not wanting to actually.
But not wanting to deal with the actual problem.
Deal with the actual.
And then my mom is a punch, so she is direct and quick and wants to deal with the problem. Mm-hmm. So my mom comes into the house and she goes, and she notices that no children have eaten. There's no lunch on the table. And she goes, Lou, my dad's name is Lou. Lou, Lou, you didn't feed the kids, right? So she didn't say, honey, I thought you were going to feed the kids. She didn't use soft language. She didn't like make a case for why children should be fed. She didn't be like, well, kids get crazy and they start to do things when you don't feed them, right? And then
I hated that.
She just looked right at him.
You explaining what? A long argument.
What a long argument would sound like.
Yeah.
And then she looked right at him and just said, you didn't feed the kids. And his response was, well, you didn't get any yogurt. So it was quick. It was a quick attack, and it was
direct. It was
not direct. It was heavy, like an accusation, like you didn't this, right? Yeah. But had nothing to do with the conflict in the moment. It was a totally different conflict.
Yeah, for people that are indirect, conflict is really not the place they're going to necessarily
being in the conflict is actually like
they need to be out of it. They need to be out of crisis mode for them to really deal with the issue.
Yeah.
And you've probably seen that in your own marriages. Maybe you even have a friend that's like that. Mm-hmm. You and I, people that are direct, tend to thrive a little bit better in a conflict situation.
That's right. So
because they're able to kind of deal with the issue straight out of the gate.
Yeah,
There's not a negative or a positive to that. It just kind of is.
It just is.
Yeah.
So like people,
and it's good to know it. Like if I was married to someone who was indirect, that's super, super important for me to know.
Like my relationship with Frank, my son. Franklin.
Oy.
Like he is indirect. So when I attack him or when he feels like I'm attacking him, when I put him in an emotional crisis, he lies to me and doesn't want to talk about the subject and obfuscates. And so I create the problem because when I go, Frank, here's my deal with you.
Yeah.
Then he goes, yeah, but this. And, that I don't want to yab at this. So I have to soften to him. I have to make sure I'm not using heavy language because he's also light.
Yeah.
And I have to let him have time to think about it before I...
Not put him into an emotional crisis.
Not put him into emotional crisis, which I like being there.
That would be really a lot of crisis.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing. Anyway, we're super excited to kind of delve into this idea, to get with some friends. We want to laugh a lot. That's also our goal. We are completely motivated by comedy and joy.
I love comedy. You know what's so great about comedy? Is how funny it is. It's how funny it is.
I didn't want you to tell me that. Okay, so we will find out people's Laban. We have some questions that we will ask our guests. Guests.
Yes. I don't think it's important that we talk about the questions right now. No. We'll talk about them when we have a guest on.
We know how to find out what your Laban is. Then we will ask a series of questions that help you to discover flow or fiasco. Yes. That being said, there's a good chance that there's a mess of all of that, right? I mean, if you've been married, you understand. If you are currently married, you understand that we are all in a state of both of those things.
It's true. But when we find out what's working and what's not working, knowing how to adjust those things is important.
So ask me an example of one of our questions that we might ask our guests.
A question might ask a guest is,
Gimme.
Let's say that you are watching a television show, like a TV series together. Do you watch it without your spouse because they're taking too long to do it with you, and then tell them about it? Or do you not watch it and not tell them about it? Or do you wait to watch it?
I choose, in all of my punch fashion, to 100% watch it without you. But I will rewatch it with you.
Okay.
But I will play on my phone and because I'm bored because I already watched it. What about you?
I will probably, this is truthful. I will probably not watch it without you. But I also didn't sort of want to watch it anyway. So.
What? Are we watching a show you didn't like?
No, I like all the shows.
It's a World War II documentary.
Still.
You're watching it without me. No, you're not watching it without me.
No, I'm not watching without you.
Wow. Okay, well, I don't want to watch it with you either.
So are we in a fiasco
No, let's
right
just
now?
Actually not watch the World War II. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Shake on it.
Shake on it. Let's do that. But like some shows, like the show about the two the Down syndrome kids that fall in love, like that show was really wonderful, and I loved watching it with you. Oh. But the same thing applies, right?
Yeah, I love that.
What was that show called?
It's kids with autism.
Down with Love, or something like that. What was that?
Down with Love.
Is that if that's not a show? I apologize.
Okay, here's another question. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Another question for you to mull over.
Okay.
What did you buy for your wife's last birthday?
I can't remember. I know what I did for Christmas.
Did you buy your
wife a birthday present?
Oh, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no.
It's just good to know. Is it your conflict style?
Okay.
Or
so
maybe
if I'm thinking about my conflict style, because I'm a press, oh my gosh, this is a huge fail. I don't remember what I bought you. Do you remember what I bought you? Did I buy you anything? I know I do things for you sometimes for your birthday or for Christmas and stuff like that. But I don't remember.
This was a trick question for our marriage because actually a lot of times we just don't do anything. We go out to dinner or something like that.
That's probably what happened.
So would you consider that fiasco or flow?
My answer or what I did? Because I don't remember what I did.
Well, your answer is what you did.
Okay, I think if we went out to dinner, then it's flow. Because I think we both really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's something we both are into.
Yes.
Oh.
Going out socially with each other and like hanging out with each other is something that we don't do a whole lot because we created a bunch of humans.
Yeah.
And now they're in the house.
At least 3 too many.
There's 3 too many. Don't tell which ones.
We have 5. So you try and figure it out.
Oh my god.
We don't know which ones it is. Doesn't
Kids
matter.
aren't allowed to watch podcasts, right?
Nope. Not this one.
Not this one. But yeah, so anytime that we get to and going to see a movie's fine, but that's a doing thing. That's we're not able to be super social when we go see a movie. So going out to dinner is actually a real joy because we get to hang out with each other and have fun and talk and stuff.
Okay. Last flow or fiasco in our relationship. Mm-hmm. In-laws. Yuck or yum.
Oh.
And by the way, they do watch podcasts.
Oh my gosh. Be very careful. Tread through this minefield lightly.
Go ahead. With honesty. Okay, you are a press.
Yes, I'm a press.
So you're going to be heavy with your words.
Yes.
You're going to push right through.
I'm going to make an argument.
The answer's going to be way too long.
I'm going to make an argument. Okay. Okay, so, oh gosh. Yum.
That took you a long time.
I had to assess many parts.
Oh, okay, that's true. When you thought of it, were you thinking of one person?
I thought of 3 or 4. I thought of 3 or 4. And then as I kept expanding it.
Tell me.
And then I kept expanding it.
Tell me at least one of the people you thought of.
With the yum?
Yeah. Who was the first person that came to mind?
Well, okay. So the first person that came to mind was your mom.
Oh.
And then
sweet.
Susie.
Oh.
And then Dan.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have to tell you a funny story about Susie.
Okay.
Jake and I said, we were joking and laughing about if he had to marry one of my sisters, who would he marry?
We were talking about sister wives.
It's an appropriate question to ask, too. Don't worry. It's fine. I said, if you had to marry one of my sisters, who would you marry? And he said, Susie. But how did you say it exactly? You're like,
Susie, but she would hate it.
She would hate having to be married to us.
She would hate it.
1,000% true, because we would want to be married to her because she plans trips.
Oh my gosh, she would organize everything.
She organizes
the
houses.
The house would be immaculate.
It would be beautiful. We would have art
Kids
on
would
the
be
wall.
Well behaved. There'd be art on the wall.
They'd be bathed.
They'd be bathed. But they'd have their homework done.
Being married to the 2 of us
would be a nightmare. It'd be like her taking on 7 children.
Yeah. We're really looking forward to it still.
Yeah. We're still trying to get it done.
Yeah.
We just got to get Shane out of it.
She's married. We don't believe in that.
Right.
So that makes it tricky.
So there's a lot of things that are holding us back.
We do believe in her planning trips for us.
She's awesome.
She's an incredible
Okay, now
travel
your
agent.
turn.
Or maybe not sister wife, but a travel agent. Yeah. Okay, give me one. This is our closing. Close this up.
So, but you have to answer or do you not have to answer the yuck or yum thing?
I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay. Well, then I think we should close it up because you said that was the last.
Oh, you're right. I did.
You did.
Okay, great.
Okay.
We made it all the way. We're so excited for you guys to come and be with us and to share some laughs and to share some of your own marriage kerfuffles.
I wonder if I looked at the camera. I wonder if I didn't look at the camera enough.
This isn't the time to think about it. We were saying goodbye.
Oh, sorry.
To our fan, folks, and friends.
I love you guys. Thanks for being you, really.
That's the important part.
Yeah, keep it up.
And thanks for caring about us.
If you do. And if you don't, thanks for that too. Bye.